G'day. In this video we'll be looking at maintenance you should do after thrashing your car around the track to give your car the best chance of not going poo-poo in its pants. Details next. I'm Mark Louth from Black Dog Motorsport, and if you or somebody you know has a black dog chasing them, there are some links in the description which you may find useful. Okay, so you've been to the track with your car and you've given the thing a damn good thrashing. Well, now what? Well, it depends. It depends on the car, how old the car is, what type of car it is, what sort of track day was it, etc, etc, etc. Now this video is of a general nature and is more of an overview of what I do and why I do it, taking into account my car, how I drive it and where I drive it. Your experience is likely to be different to mine, however the general premise will be at the very least similar in most cases. The first point I would like to make is, even though I am driving my car to the limit of its capabilities, I am not exceeding any of the manufacturer's design limits. And that is an important consideration you would be well advised to contemplate when coming up with your own post-race maintenance schedule. Now, what do I mean by design limits? Well, I mean I am not asking the car to do anything the designers have not allowed for. For example, the manufacturer specified RPM redline for my engine is 7,200 RPM. Now, I have not changed that. The manufacturer has determined that 7,200 is the maximum RPM the engine should be run at, taking into account all of the design characteristics of the rotating assemblies like conrods, crankshafts, etc, etc. And because all of those components remain unmodified, I have not changed the redline RPM. Right, so if I do not exceed any of the design limits of the car, then I shouldn't need to alter the manufacturer's specified servicing schedule, surely. And the car's components should last as long as those of a car that never sees the track, right? Well, no. But why? While it's true to state that the maximum RPM is not being exceeded, for example, it should be taken into account that the manufacturer did not envisage the car being operated at or near redline RPM very often, if ever. Therefore, when determining the engine specifications and the oil change frequency, for example, they did not take into account engine operation at or near redline for extended periods of time when they made their calculations. And that is the same for the rest of the car. So where does that leave us? On one hand, it's okay to rev the thing all the way out, but on the other hand, it's not. What? Makes sense, man. Okay, to the point. Any specification that states a maximum is a defined maximum, determined by a set parameter or consideration, irrespective of other parameters or considerations. Now, in the case of maximum RPM, for example, the factors taken into account would be things like the ability of the rotating components to handle the stresses of centripetal force at high RPM, torsional vibrations at high RPMs, etc, etc, without taking into account any other factors like engine longevity or oil change frequency, for example. It is simply a limitation that basically says to the operator that if you operate this engine at this RPM, it is not going to fail, assuming all other operational parameters are good and the engine is not worn excessively, and that's it. It does not take into account anything else, and it does not imply that engine life will not be shortened if the engine is consistently operated at these RPMs, and the same applies to the rest of the car. Post-track maintenance is about ensuring the vehicle's components last as long as possible, and is not about ensuring the vehicle's components last as long as they would last if the vehicle never went to the track. That is simply not going to happen. If you put your race car or your car onto the track and use it as a race car, you will shorten the life of the vehicle's components. There's no way around it. With all that said, let's get into the bones of it. First off, let's divide the vehicle into sections and look at each in turn. The engine, the transmission, the final drive, the suspension, steering, brakes, and the body/chassis. Each of these sections can be broken down further into subsystems, and I will do that as we look at each section in turn. As this will take some time, I'm going to make this a multi-part series so that we can give each section the attention that it deserves. The first section we will look at will be the big ticket item, and that's the engine. And it will be, and along with its sub-assemblies, the subject of part 2. If you would like to be notified when that video goes live, please consider subscribing. It is free. Ring the notification bell, and as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.